A very good morning to all of you. I'll request everyone to please be seated so that we can start the National Convention. I welcome you all to the National Convention 2015, titled Conscience Keeper of National Wealth, being organized by CPE Committee of ICI and hosted by your Ahmedabad branch. Conscience Keeper, as the word signifies, means a superior who by his influence ensure that the right things happen. I think it's a very apt title for a chartered accountant. And now, may I request our branch chairman, may I request Treasurer and Regional Council Member, WIRC CA Subodh ji, CA Satyendra, CA Vikash Jain, CA Chintan Patel, to escort our chief guest, CA Amarjeet Chopra, onto the dais, along with our Central Council Member, CA Dhinal Shah. Let's give them a big round of applause. Amarjeet ji is coming all the way from Delhi to address us. May I now request you to please stand up for the Institute's motto.
सुप्तेषु जागृति येष सुप्तेषु जागृति कामं 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 कामंशो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तदेव शुक्रदब्रह्मा तदब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनाद्यपि कश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता
Thank you. I'll now request the Amrish Patel, our branch chairman, to propose a welcome address.
Good morning and warm welcome to all. At this luxurious venue of National Convention 2015, Hotel Hayatt Regency at Ahmedabad, in an inauguration session of today's National Convention 2015 Ahmedabad, theme of which is Conscience Keeper of National Wealth, I indeed am delighted, feeling proud to welcome you all, particularly Chief Guest, Honorable Past President of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, CA Amarjeet Chopra, CCM and CA Babu Abram, who is Chairman of CPE Committee ICI and is also organizer of this convention in his absence here. Our own CCM CA Dhinal Shah, who is incidentally co-chairman of the National Convention, Coordinator of National Convention, Treasurer of WIRC, CA Subodh Kedia, most efficient and proficient Honorable Secretary of Branch, CA Satyendra, Vice Chairman of the Branch, CA Vikash Jain, Treasurer of Branch, CA Chintan Patel, immediate past Chairman of the Branch, CA Aniket Talati, RCM CA Parag Rawal, RCM CA Priyam Shah, and galaxy of past Chairman of Ahmedabad branch and past RCMs and CCMs. Regarding National Convention 2015, first of all, I would like to compliment our own CCM CA Dhinal Shah for superbly arranging all technical sessions, matching expert speakers, which fetch overwhelming response to this national convention from esteemed members of Ahmedabad as well as India. All topics are of current and live interest to all of us, and knowledge sharing from experts will be doubtlessly beneficial to all of us. Theme of National Convention 2015, Own Science Keeper of National Wealth, exactly matching with technical sessions covering a wide range of subjects like accountancy, audit, taxation, law, etc., to be addressed by experts. Here I would like to thank Ahmedabad team colleagues and my special thanks to Secretary of the branch, CA Satyendra, Treasurer of WIRC, CA Subodh Kedia, RCM, CA Shah, and Managing Committee Member, CA Jani, who put in very hard efforts, ignoring day and night since last fortnight, to give the stature to this convention it should have. Chief guest of the convention, Chopra ji Sahib, I would like to take liberty to present stock of performance of the branch at this juncture in middle of my tenure as chairman of the branch. Talking about the branch activities briefly, I can enumerate like Best Branch Award consecutively for last 2 years together with Vikash Award. Total CPE hours approximately 35,000 programs conducted. CRAT meeting with Vice Chancellor of Gujarat University, Dr. M.N. Patel. A number of career counseling programs conducted by the branch. Best performance of branch coaching classes 2015. I would like to mention that performance of Ahmedabad branch coaching classes overpassed the performance of all over India and Ahmedabad center. Biometric initiative for CPE hours at the branch. Rotation of duties amongst the branch staff. Adoption of employee policy by the branch. Over and above this, mega events at the branch can be enumerated as President's felicitation and Vice President's felicitation, felicitation of WRC office bearers, Gujarat state level women conference being participated by more than 200 ladies chartered accountants, students convocation and orientation and campus placement program, CADA celebration on 1st July, and cultural program popularly enjoyed by members, Satrang on 4th July, inauguration of new advanced ITT lab with 50 computers, and lastly, Yoga Day celebration. I would like to conclude with the quote of Swami Vivekananda: if you take risk and succeed, you will lead, but if you lose, you will guide. Thanks to all.
Thanks a lot, our energetic chairman, C. Amrish bhai. Friends, as you can see, there are a lot of televisions across. There are 5 televisions in the hall. Besides, in front you have 3 more. So there is no way that you will miss the intellectual presentations by our speaker. So thanks to the wonderful arrangements. I'll now request the DAIS. I'll now request Chairman C. Amrish bhai, C. Subodh ji, our Secretary, the Vice Chairman of the branch, to escort Amrish ji along with Dhinal bhai towards lighting the lamp. The lighting of lamp has its own significance. I think apart from the ICI motto, Thank you. I'll now request our Central Council member, CA Dhinal Shah, to share his thoughts on this National Tax Convention.
Honorable past President of the Institute and Chairman NACAS, Shri Amarjeet Chopra ji, Chairman of Ahmedabad branch Amrish bhai, Vice Chairman Vikash, Secretary Satyendra, Treasurer Chintan, Regional Council members Subodh, Parag and Priyam, past Chairman of Ahmedabad branch Aniket Talati, Managing Committee member Harsh, Vice President of Chartered Accountant Association Raju bhai, seniors in the profession and dear friends. Let me first of all thank the Ahmedabad branch and its entire team for hosting this seminar on behalf of the Institute CP committee. And to my understanding, in the present day, the subjects selected, the faculties are of par excellence in their expert field. And to my expectation, all of us will benefit from the deliberation in next 2 days. Coincidentally, the due date for return were extended, and therefore we are reasonably at ease for today and tomorrow. I must thank personally to Amarjeet Chopra ji for agreeing to come here. He is actually supposed to go to Indore for an international conference in the evening, but on my personal request, he agreed to come to Ahmedabad, and after becoming the Chairman NACAS, and all of you know that under the Companies Act 1956 and then under the Companies Act 2013. The NACAS is the supreme body between the Institute and the MCA to recommend the accounting standards and the DAIS which is being implemented from the next year. So I must congratulate Amarjeet ji and I must thank him for being here, and I would on all of your behalf, I would like to felicitate him as our Chairman NACAS for being coming to Ahmedabad for the first time. I have worked under him in my first year of council, and I know his dedication, conviction and commitment. And that commitment and conviction comes only if you have something within yourself. And that is what he deserves as a chairman of NACAS and a past president of the Institute. 3 or 4 thoughts just wanted to share without taking much time. The subject of India, which is being discussed in the first technical session by Mr. Chopra. But there are certain tax issues, there are certain transfer pricing issues. The committee has been set up by CBDT to deal with the MAT issues arising out of India's compliant companies. And the dispute today between the taxpayer and the tax department is on whether you pay tax on the OCI or whether you don't pay tax on the OCI. And one of the views is that if it is a distributable profit concept under a MAT, then the profit which is, or the income which is credited to OCI or the expenses which are debited to OCI, whether would form part of the MAT, that is under the discussion at CBDT, and we will see some changes in the MAT provisions for India's compliant company in next coming 3 to 4 months. The similar issue is of the transfer pricing, that from next year when you have a comparable company as on an India's basis, you have certain multiple year data for a last year which is an Indian GAAP accounting. How will you compare the comparables company from a transfer pricing both from a domestic and the international? 2 more things I wanted to share on, one on the NBFC. The Reserve Bank of India has been monitoring the NBFCs in Gujarat, and particularly where you have yourself registered as an NBFC but are not complying the non-banking prudential guidelines or the non-banking financial company auditor's directions of 98, and you are not filing an exception report. The RBI has started taking a strict view and have already made complaints to the institute and few cases. The second category is on where you are not classified as an NBFC, but your actual activity of 50% of assets and 50% of income is from a financial activity. And there also the RBI has started taking a strict view because now the committee is chaired by a Chief Secretary of the Gujarat government, and he has also started taking a view that why the auditors are not complying the directions of the RBI. So my personal request to all of you that please look at your financial statement which you sign, and if you feel that there is an NBIFC exposure, you should take your professional judgment, take a proper care and caution, and if you feel appropriate, you can actually go and qualify a report and file an exception report with an RBI. So as far as you are concerned as an auditor, you are not subject to any consequences thereafter. The report of the CBDT and the SEBI before a few days was released. The actions across the India have started on so-called capital gains entries. And I'm not on the issue of whether it is right or wrong, it is for the government and the judiciary to decide. But one of the statements in the SEBI report is also on the role of the professionals, whether it is chartered accountant or whether it is a non-chartered accountant. And therefore, somewhere, the expectations of the government, including SEBI, MCA or any other government authority, have increased substantially from all of us. And therefore, as a professional, I must take proper care so that I am not involved into such activities, or at least I am not being treated as an abatement in the pursuance of these activities of a taxpayer. And therefore, I must take that proper care as far as a professional is concerned. And the same issue is on the Black Money Act, which is already there, where the government has started propagating. Few days back, the Revenue Secretary and the Chairman CBDT gave a talk. On Monday, they are actually having a meeting with the Institute and the industry representatives to propagate the Black Money Act. Again, my gut feeling is that we must properly advise a client, and if there is something which is required to be rectified or taken proper care, I would prefer that at least we should go and comply the act as a professional and advise the client appropriately, so that at least the future consequences can be saved. And the same issue is on the Financial Intelligence Unit, which is our highest government of India body who tracks the movement of money and the capital flows. And they are very, very fast on unearthing the information either from the different countries or from within the India. And there also the discussion has started about the role of the professionals on the money laundering or any other similar kind of money movements between the different industries or different the taxpayers or the corporates or non-corporates. And therefore, but I must share that in last 4 to 5 months I have seen the professionals' interest is going up as far as an audit profession and audit documents are concerned. In last 5 months, whichever seminars I have attended, even in an audit seminar, there is a good presence. Normally the lighter tone feeling is, if you have a tax subject and only you have a good presence. But now even in an audit seminar, you have a good presence of the members. That only shows that the importance of documents and auditing profession have increased. And with that, thank you very much to Chairman of the Ahmedabad branch and the entire team, and thanks to all of you.
Thanks a lot, Dhinal bhai, for your thought-provoking ideas. Friends, I'd like to make a small announcement about a wonderful initiative by our Treasurer WIRC. Because of his efforts, our Ahmedabad branch has been able to secure a scholarship of 7 lakhs for the students of the coaching classes which study at the Ahmedabad branch. The scholarship will be given to the needy students. I'll now request CS Subodh Kedia to hand over this check of rupees 7 lakhs to Chairman Ahmedabad branch. Please, sir. So let's give a big round of applause. Friends, another announcement is that today we have been able to get this guide to tax audit by taxmen. It will be available to all the members outside at a very nominal price of rupees 250, which is just a token as against the listed price of rupees 1100. So members are requested to take full benefit of this book. I'll now request CS Subodh Kedia, Treasurer and our Regional Council member of WIRC, to please introduce our chief guest. And Subodh ji may also let us know that whether this scholarship scheme is expected to continue in future also.
Dignitaries on the dais, of the DAIS, senior in the profession, and dear delegates. Good morning to all of you. It's my great privilege, pride privilege to introduce a personality like Honorable Past President, CA Amarjeet Chopra. He is a highly acclaimed chartered accountant for more than 40 years. CA Amarjeet Chopra ji was the president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India during 2010-11 and vice president the year before. He has been nominated by IRDA on the Standing Committee of Accounting Issues in Insurance Companies. He chaired several important committees that dealt with auditing and accounting standards, corporate governance, and banking at the national level, and IFAC, CAPA, and SAFA at international level. Banking, finance, and insurance sector entrusted him immensely, which could be evidenced by his nomination as independent director to Bank of Baroda in 2006-9 and Indian Bank 11-14. He is a member of Security Exchange Board of Committee on Disclosure and Accounting Standards, board member of the Insurance Regulatory Authority of India, and a member of Audit Committee of Reserve Bank of India. Besides, he was also nominated as independent director to several other companies in private and public sector. Mr. Chopra contributed significantly to the professional development of the auditing and accounting discipline in India over the years. He has recently been nominated by Government of India as the chairman of National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standard NACAS under Companies Act. He also served as the International Audit and Assurance Standard Board of IFAC as technical advisor during 2009-10. He served as IFAC Committee of Professional Accountancy Organization Development for a period of 3 years. He was the vice chairman of the committee for the year 2013. Corporate governance and due diligence attract his attention, and he found himself nominated to the SEBI committee to review the performance of corporate as regards governance. He was appointed by the Government of India to investigate complex issues in relation to Mr. Xerox India Limited, served as Vice Chairman of the High-Powered Committee of ICI that examined the Satyendra fraud in India and investigated several others during his career as professional auditor. He has been conferred honorary membership of Institute of Chartered Accountants of Australia and honorary life membership of Association of International Accountants, London. A prolific speaker, he has delivered more than 2,000 lectures on various topics including accounting and auditing standards, IFRS, banking including financial inclusion, insurance, corporate laws, corporate governance, peer review both in India as well as abroad. He has keen interest in music and sports, particularly cricket. With this brief introduction, I would like to welcome Amarjeet ji Chopra, and I request all of you with the folded hand to greet him with a big round of applause.
Thanks a lot, Subodh.
Before I request him to deliver his chief guest address, I think before we would like to welcome him.
So I'll request our branch chairman, C. Amrish bhai, to welcome Amarjeet ji with a bouquet. Welcome, sir. Please accept the token of our love. I'll now request C.A. Chintan Patel to give a bouquet to our Central Council member, C.A. Dhinal bhai. Welcome, sir. And I'll now request C.A. Vikash Jain, Vice Chairman of the Ahmedabad branch, to give a memento to our chief guest. Now the stage is yours, sir.
The chairman of Ahmedabad branch, Mr. Amrish Patel, the vice chairman, Mr. Vikash Jain, the secretary, Mr. Satyendra, the Treasurer of WIRC, Mr. Subodh Kedia, the Treasurer of Ahmedabad branch, Mr. Chintan Patel, the member WIRC, Mr. Parag, and of course my very, very esteemed colleague in the council in the past, Dhinal Shah, and I think I can say son of the soil here. One person who has contributed significantly so far as the technical aspects of the institute are concerned. I can dare say, very frankly, whenever I look at the composition of the council, what we had in 98 when I entered the council and what we have today, one concern is that the technical content is coming down somewhere or the other. And I can only say it's for the electorate to really take care of that particular part. We may have very good administrators, we may have everything, but we need definitely to talk to the government, to talk to the regulators, talk to the world at large on technical matters. I'm not talking in the sense that it is an election year. Believe me, this is my very, very strong belief. Electorate all over the country must vote for the technical people. Otherwise, we are going down as an institute. Our role is going down as an institute. It's a message that I will like to give to you. And let me come back to the topic, conscience keeper of national wealth, which is the theme of this conference. And let me also say very clearly that probably the inauguration was to be done by someone else. I am a substitute. And I am reminded of a substitute. The original speaker or the original person who was supposed to chair went abroad and he was substituted. And when this person came to the DAIS, he said, probably I would have been a better substitute there rather than being here. So I don't know what forced that particular person to go out. But nevertheless, it's a task which was entrusted to me with Dhinal Bhai. And one thing that I have learned to is never say no to any institute program whenever you are called. Because this is something which you owe to this profession. You are what you are because of this profession. You could not have been here but for this profession. I can tell you this profession has given so much. I will not talk in terms of the money. I will talk in terms of the love and affection of the various members, the students. As a president, I used to say that people say I have resorted to family planning. I have one child, two children. But I have 10 lakh children at my disposal basically. And I have to take care of the interest of the 10 lakh students. And I think that is what any president has to feel at the end of the day. And I think we have to go with that particular motto. This topic of conscience keeper of national wealth, I personally feel when this profession came into existence in 1949, we were entrusted the task of accounting and auditing, if you really ask me. If you read section 2, this only defines very clearly why we were created. But most unfortunately, this is the area in which our credibility has gone down. And to me, that's a matter of concern. To the profession, it's a matter of concern, if you ask me. See, we may talk of national conscience. You look at the section 36 of the present Companies Act, what does it say? And I think we must start looking at that very, very carefully. Because when I read section 36, it does not stop only for auditing. Auditing is dealt with in certain other sections. It says if you prepare certain project reports, you prepare certain projections, you make certain forecasts, and those are proved to be misleading. And based upon those forecasts or projections, even if a bank has lent certain thing to the companies, in that case you will be hauled up for the fraudulent practices under section 447. I think we have not taken care of that. Today if we talk of Mr. Sinha, the other day talked of the CBI director. He talked of the total level of NPS being 2,22,000 crores in this country. Believe me, this is not 2,20,000 crore. It is nearly 5,75,000 crores today. Because it did not refer to the restructured amounts. Because whatever has been restructured, 60 or 70% of that is not going to come back to the banking system at all. Somewhere or the other, we are also responsible for it. Let's be very clear, both as the auditors of the banks and as the auditors of the corporates. We cannot close our eyes, we cannot shut our eyes to what is happening in the society. And if we keep on doing this, sooner or later, believe me, that's my very firm belief, we can become irrelevant to the society. Sooner we learn saying no to the client on certain practices. And if we don't learn to say no to those practices, I think we will be termed as not the conscience keepers of wealth, it could be the conscience keepers of the wealth of the promoters or the industry, not of the nation for that matter. I have seen, I have been in partnership for the last 40 years for that matter. Whenever the client comes to the tax partner will say, don't worry, we'll take care. And the same client, when he comes to the audit partner, he will say, no, you can't do this here. Because I am going to put my signatures on this. How can you do this? I think internationally there, today is a demand, and I think this paper is coming out very fast, that probably there is the need that there must be specialized firms of accountants now. One for the tax, one for the audit. Or one for the consulting, you can say including tax, and one for the audit. And I personally feel in our lifetime, in my lifetime at least, I will be able to see those specialized firms of the accountants. There is no doubt in my mind. Because the way the things have gone along, after all, if you look at the section 144 of the Companies Act today, it is a very clear reflection of what the government feels. Luckily, neither the institute has defined managerial services nor MC has defined managerial services. Institute does not want to define managerial services because if you include taxation in that, what happens to the practice, particularly in the Mufassil towns? And I personally feel in election year, you cannot even venture to take that risk. Because if you say that tax practitioners will not be able to do audit, what happens to the present set of firms of the accountants? I think 80% of the firms will be somewhere else. Sooner or later, institute will have to come out with that clarification. For the time being, I personally feel, it's my purely personal opinion, that tax practice can continue along with the audit practice. I have absolutely no issue on that. But sooner or later, maybe after 1 year, maybe after 2 years, MCA may force it upon the institute, please, because MCA for the last 1 year, I know, has been telling the institute, please define managerial services and whatever way you define, we'll put it across. Institute will come out with that, we should come out with that definition. That's my humble request to Dhinal ji. Let us say that tax practice will be allowed, absolutely no issue, but let's not expose the large membership to a risk tomorrow. Till the time institute or MCA comes out with the clarification, I don't find any risk to any of the members. But we should say what we mean by the managerial services. That definition must come from the institute sooner or later. And I can only say that as the auditors of the companies, someone referred to Satyam during my reading my biodata. One episode has changed the entire Companies Act, mind it. It has led to the entire revision of the Companies Act. The entire tone and tenor of the Companies Act is based upon this Satyam, which was the greatest asatyam of this country, if you ask me. To the extent that if I have the external confirmation which was given by Raju from the banks to the auditors, that is 1,000 times more than the confirmation which the auditors had on their files directly received from the banks. And if somebody says, we were not aware of it, I think it is the biggest lie. The auditors were aware of that particular fact, so far as we know about that particular case. Because if Raju has to give you the external confirmation by hand, then that external confirmation is going to be different. If you look at 143(9) today, under the Companies Act, why I'm saying it is because of the conscience keeper role. It says all auditing standards will be mandatory. As if earlier the auditing standards were not mandatory. Auditing standards were mandatory earlier also. The only difference is that institute used to say it is mandatory. Law never said that these are mandatory. Unfortunately, most of us sitting over here will not even know how many are the auditing standards in this country. Only the person who is appearing for his final examination will be knowing it. Because generally I say, believe me, I say most of the times, my hats off to the present generation. हम तो उस वक्त के चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हैं, मेरे सामने और भी कई लोग बैठे हैं उसी वक्त के. हम तो पास सिर्फ इसलिए हो गए ना अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड से ना ऑडिटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स थे उस वक्त. क्योंकि अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड बोर्ड भी नहीं था, ऑडिटिंग स्टैंडर्ड बोर्ड भी नहीं था हमारे टाइम पे. तो आई क्वालिफाइड इन 75. तो इतनी सी किताब होती थी स्टेटमेंट ऑन ऑडिटिंग प्रैक्टिसेस, वो पढ़ के पास हो गए. आज अगर देना पड़े 32 अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड, माइंड इट, 41 स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग, प्लेथोरा ऑफ स्टेटमेंट्स एंड गाइडेंस नोट्स, कौन क्वालिफाई कर सकता? माई हैट्स ऑफ टू द प्रेजेंट जनरेशन, whosoever is sitting over here. I salute, really. Despite all these efforts of the institute, still the people have been able to qualify, if you ask me. Whatever result we give, whatever percentage may be there, but still people are qualifying. अगर आज हमें अपीयर होना पड़े तो हम एमर्ज तो एफसीए होंगे, पर उसका मतलब होगा फेल्ड चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट बेसिकली. But what I want to tell you is that auditing standards are not read. आप टैक्सेशन पे एक प्रोग्राम करवाइए जो आज हो रहा है, यू कैन सी दी हाउस फुल. आप अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स पे करवाएं तो इससे 3/4 रह जाएगा. ऑडिटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स पे करवाएं तो आगे की 3-4 रो रह जाएंगी, बाकी कुछ नहीं होगा. बिकॉज एवरीबडी फील्स आफ्टर क्वालिफाइंग ऑडिट्स, ऑडिट तो मुझे आता है यार, स्टैंडर्ड पढ़ने की क्या जरूरत है? आई नो एवरीथिंग अबाउट ऑडिटिंग. And I have always maintained one thing, audit is nothing but my crutch, मेरी ढाल है auditing standards. Auditing standard कहते क्या हैं कि अगर ये करोगे तो आप पे एक्शन नहीं होगा, यही तो कहता. भाई अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड तो मेरे को मैंडेटरी नहीं, अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स आर मैंडेटरी टू द कंपनीज. दे आर सपोज्ड टू फॉलो इट, एंड इफ दे डोंट फॉलो इट, प्लीज क्वालिफाई द रिपोर्ट. Auditing standards are mandatory to me. Let's put a hand on heart and say with conviction in how many cases we are obtaining the external confirmations. In 90% of the balance sheets, we are saying all party balances, advances, creditors, debtors are subject to confirmation and reconciliation. आप इमेजिन करिए एक सर्विस कंपनी हो, उसमें ना मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के रिकॉर्ड्स हो ना कुछ हो, सिर्फ डेटर्स और क्रेडिटर्स ही, और मैं कहूं दीज आर सब्जेक्ट टू कंफर्मेशन एंड रिकंसिलिएशन. तो ऑडिट किस चीज का हुआ यार? व्हाट वी हैव ऑडिटेड. आप इसको छोड़ दीजिए, कारों पे चले जाइए, उसका पहला क्वेश्चन है विद रिगार्ड टू फिक्स्ड एसेट रजिस्टर. जिस दिन कंपनी पैदा होती है और जिस दिन मरती है, उसमें एक नोट लिखा रहता है, फिक्स्ड एसेट रजिस्टर ऑफ द कंपनी अंडर अपडेशन. एंड ऑन द टॉप ऑफ इट, believe me, on the top of it, the auditor has audacity to write physical verification of the assets has taken place and all the discrepancies have been adjusted. अरे बुक बैलेंस नहीं है तो एडजस्ट कहां से हो गई भाई डिस्क्रिपेंसी? ये तो हमारे आरओसी सोए हुए हैं और दे डोंट हैव द नॉलेज. जिस दिन आरओसी इस बात पे जाग गए, उस दिन क्या होगा आई डोंट नो. तो मेरी आप लोगों से एक ही विनती है, बिकॉज हमारे दो रोल हैं कॉन्शियस कीपर्स के, एक तो टैक्स कंसल्टेंट का और एक मेरा रोल है एज द ऑडिटर प्राइमरली एंड फाइनेंस अरेंजर्स. प्लीज लेट्स वेक अप टू द कॉल ऑफ द सोसाइटी, एंड इफ वी डोंट वेक अप टू द कॉल ऑफ सोसाइटी, पीपल विल टेक केयर ऑफ अस. NAFRA is not coming on its own. Let's be very clear about it. People keep on criticizing NAFRA. Has NAFRA come on its own? No. NAFRA is coming because of our acts. NAFRA is definitely coming because of our acts. So, sooner we mend our ways, the better it is. और जो बच्चे बैठे, अगर कोई स्टूडेंट बैठा तो उसको तो मैं ये कह सकता हूँ भाई जल्दी क्वालिफाई कर लो, नहीं तो कुछ और स्टैंडर्ड ऐड हो जाएंगे तुम्हारे लिए आंसर करने के लिए। अब अगले साल तो इंडियास भी आंसर करने पड़ेंगे। फ्रॉम नवंबर नेक्स्ट प्रॉब्ली इंडियास विल आल्सो बी हैव टू बी आंसर्ड। Friends, I will play my second innings also, but I thought on this inauguration, the message for the conscience keeper, because we are definitely the conscience keepers of this society, there is no doubt about it. When Mr. Kalam came, Abdul Kalam Sahab came, whom I salam really, I salute for all his contribution. He really exhorted us to do many things, including the agricultural accounting, etc. He is one president who has gone down in the history, who has been loved by one and all, believe me. कोई व्यक्ति उसको across the society cannot say that I didn't like him. I think we need those kind of leaders, whether at the institute level or at the country level. Only that I will like to tell you, friends. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, sir. Your message as a conscience keeper is well taken. Thanks for putting special emphasis on auditing standards, and your words today will lead all our members sitting here to at least go back and read the auditing standards. I'll now request CA Satyendra, Secretary of the Ahmedabad branch, to propose a vote of thanks.
Today's chief guest, C. Amarjeet Chopra Sahab, Chairman of Ahmedabad branch, C. Amrish Patel, Central Council member, C. Dhinal Shah, my colleagues in the managing committee on the DAIS, very seniors in the profession, young friends, ladies and gentlemen. Lastly, the chief guest mentioned about Kalam Sahab, the people's president. I'll tell you, today's program is also a tribute to people's president who passed away very recently. May I request all of you to please stand only for a minute to pay your respect to this great man. Thank you. Well, friends, being the secretary of the branch, it's indeed an honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks. Sir, we are really thankful to you for sparing your valuable time. Though, today the international conference has already begun at Indore, but you could spare time for all of us. Ahmedabad branch is really thankful, and on behalf of each of the members present here and who are not present, I, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Our Central Council member, Dhinal, who was really instrumental in bringing this program to Ahmedabad. I know, before 2 months, it was Dhinal Bhai's initiative when he said, let's host a program of national level, and he could find out, he could convince the CP committee of ICI to repose faith in Ahmedabad branch, and probably with the registration of almost 700 members today, I am sure all of you are going to see the successfulness of this program. So thank you, Dhinal Bhai. All our regional council member and treasurer of WIRC, Subodh Kedia, I need to specially mention for making all the efforts with WIRC to bring a check amounting to almost about 7 lakhs to be given to underprivileged children of Ahmedabad branch who are undergoing coaching for CA course at Ahmedabad branch, and that's really a very, very good initiative. And thank you, Subodh Bhai. All our managing committee members who have really toiled very hard, either it is our vice chairman, past chairman, our regional council members, all of them have worked very hard, and I really request all of you to please give them a big hand so that, this thing is continued in future and they're able to bring very good programs for all of you. With this, not taking much of time, thank you very much once again to each one of you who are present here and participating in this program. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, sir. We shall be immediately starting the next session. So we can just have a photograph, and then I'll request Amarjeet ji to please stay on the dais. Thank you.
I would now announce C. Aniket Talati, Rinkesh Shah and Sanjay D. Shah to please join C. Amarjeet ji on the dais.